Hi, everyone, and welcome to this yet another Achievers session where we have an achiever today. We'll be talking to her about her journey, her preparation journey, and all. But I think one of the most sought after choices today among the student fraternity after class 12th is definitely the IPM program, the 5 year integrated program in management. The results of all the exams for 2022 have been announced. And today we have one of those achievers who have cracked most of the colleges. So let me welcome Vidhi Singh. She has got calls, the final calls, final admission calls from IIM Jammu, IIM Bodh Gaya, and IIFT. The Ranchi results are definitely awaited, and I'm sure she will definitely crack that. Vidhi, first of all, congratulations. You have aced the JIPMAT examination and you have been selected to these colleges. You have done definitely well in the Indore paper. You have already got a call for final admissions from IFT. So when you got the results, what was the feeling all about?
I was very happy to see the results. I was obviously expecting it because I did work very hard for it, but I personally didn't think I'd make it to the first list. And when we got the results, I actually wasn't at home. So we were out shopping, and then suddenly my phone was flooding with texts. And then I saw that I made it. So everyone was very happy, and we celebrated.
Of course, when we talk about a student journey, and especially these days, when I'm interacting with a lot of parents, I understand. Uh, so they are the most worried. Actually, sometimes I believe that they are more worried than the students. So, what was their reaction? What were your parents' reaction when they got to know about your result?
They were very proud because even though in like our age gap, taking a drop is somewhat normalized now because it's understandable that some people need more time to prepare, but they were always kind of sketchy about it, that I don't know if it, because it'll obviously be better if I make it in my first go, and I did, so my dad was very proud of me.
You started your IPM preparation journey somewhere around when you were in class 11th, I believe, and
Yes.
almost at the end of the class 11, somewhere around, because you joined Career Launcher around December and 2020. So you almost gave 1.5 years precisely for the preparation of the examination. So how your journey has been like. So every person has different emotions. The journey is very different for everybody else. So how was your journey? Difficult, easy? What was the thought when you were preparing for the examination?
I believe for me it was fairly easy because in this IPMAT exam, especially for Indore, the only subjects they asked are English and Quants. And personally, I was very good at English, so that section was fairly easy for me to crack. So I had to devote all my time to Quant, and I believe that section also was easy once I started preparing for it. So the preparation wasn't that hard, majorly because I started so early. I would have wanted to start since the beginning of 11th grade, but then I didn't know about this program by then. So once I got to know, I started dedicating my time to it. And I believe once I started practicing questions and attending live classes, it really helped me a lot. So that made my preparation really easy.
You come from a science background. You had physics, chemistry, and mathematics in your class 12. uh, how easy or difficult it is now that you have that experience, you have given the examination. A lot of people talk about if you do not have mathematics in class 12, you'll definitely not crack this examination. While you come from a science background, but was it easy, difficult? What was your thought around when you gave the examination?
I believe that it's a very big misconception that if you don't have maths, then it'll be very hard for you to crack it. Obviously, the people who have maths in 11 and 12 will have an edge over you because they have been doing maths almost every day. But most of the questions in the quant sections are of 10th grade standards and lower, because most common topics are like time, speed, distance, and profit and loss, and these are subject topics which are taught in like 8th to 10th grade. And the higher maths are also, first of all, not that hard. Secondly, there are rarely any questions from it. So topics like log and matrices and determinants, you'll find a very few number of questions from it. So even if you don't have maths in 11th and 12th, I believe that if you dedicate your time to quant, you'll easily be able to crack it.
So that's a wonderful thought. In fact, and this way I've been telling to the students now that you have spoken about, I think they would be able to relate to that. So they will definitely keep that fear away. Uh, you focus more when you were in class 12. So as I said, you started when you were in almost the fag end of the class 11th, last quarter of class 11th. So 12th is a very important year in any student's life, actually. So we do understand the importance of class 12 board examination. How did you manage your preparation along with the pressure you had for your class 12th?
For our batch, it was very different from any other batches because we had two terms. So we basically had board exams twice. So my flow was broken in many parts because I started studying and then my first boards came and then I tried to pick this up back again, but my second boards came again. So uh, for me personally, I wouldn't advise this to everyone, but since I started earlier and I was fairly confident in English, around 1 month before my boards, I honestly dropped this because I wanted to focus on my boards and physics. My physics and chemistry weren't that strong, so I wanted to dedicate my time to that. And once my boards were over, I picked this up again and then religiously started studying for this. So basically, that's the thing, time management and what are your priorities? Because if you're really good with your subjects, let's say you have PCM and you're very confident in chemistry and physics, which are like tedious to learn. So if you're confident with that, then you can easily take out 3 or 4 hours from your day and practice some quant questions, solve some papers. And if you think that it's better to stop this for some time, that's completely understandable too. It's up to you, honestly.
Yeah. So it's all about having that confidence in yourself. That's very, very important, and working to your strength basically. Now, talking about the strength, so every person when they prepare for these examination, these entrance examination, they take mock tests, and which are definitely based on the exam pattern. But this year, IIMindore the came out with a very surprising change. Actually, the number of questions reduced in the quantitative section, the number of questions increased, and in fact, there was no hint given by them that probably they might come out with a change. Nowhere officially they announced this. So when you looked at the paper when you were appearing for the IPMAT Indore, were you taken by surprise? And what was your reaction? How did you go about it?
I was definitely surprised because I had given so many mocks, so I knew what to expect. I knew the number of questions I was supposed to see on my screen, but then I saw they were less than that, and for one whole minute I was staring at my screen, and then I was looking around to see if everyone had the same thing because I was genuinely taken aback because they did not announce this prior to the exam, and I was so prepared for it, and then it like threw me back, so I had to take a couple of minutes, like regain my confidence, and then I had to start doing the paper.
Okay, so it was like, is it my case or is it everyone case ki पांच question
Exactly, I thought it was something wrong with my system because while they were uploading data, something happened. It glitched for some time, so it took a whole minute to see if everyone around me had the same thing, and they did. So I started doing my paper again.
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise. So they did go ahead with the same sectional time limit, but nobody expected that the number of questions would change actually. So that's definitely. But I think somebody who has prepared well, they would definitely for a moment they would be surprised, but I think they would always do well because if somebody has worked hard, that will definitely work for them. Okay, Vidhi. So that was all from my end. But before we end this interview, I would like you to share your words of wisdom for the prospective students who will be appearing for the exam next year or maybe next to next year. So, what are the few things they must take care of, and what are the few things they must not do as well? So, based on your experience.
The first thing I would like to say, which is also stressed a lot by teachers, and now I understand why they used to tell us to do it, is to take mock tests. Because once you take a lot of mock tests, you start understanding the paper and resonating with it. So for my case, the quant section, whenever I used to start it, I used to get very intimidated by the first five, six questions. I don't know if it's with me or with everyone else, but I honestly believe the first five questions are a bit harder. So what I used to do, this I realized after giving like 4 or 5 mocks that it was better for me. So in the second quant section, the MCQ one, I used to start from, let's say, question 20, and then I used to go down from 20, and then I used to come back and do it. So it helped me gain confidence. And the second thing is that even while giving mocks, and definitely for the main paper, if you come across a question that you don't know or you think you can do, but it might take some time, just leave it for now. It took me so long to realize this, because after giving school exams and boards where you're supposed to answer every single question, in this, it doesn't matter which question you answer, it matters how many you answer. So giving all your time to one hard question is worse than like giving all that time to five easy questions. No one will judge you whether you attempt easy questions or that one really hard question. So it's always better to manage your time like that. Apart from that, this is personally for the interview section, which I the problem I faced personally, because my schedule was always very messed up. Like I for the prep, and especially because of the pandemic and the lockdown, so I started sleeping very late and waking up late. So I used to go to bed around 3 and 4 and wake up at 10. So on the day of my IIM indoor interview, the interview was supposed to be around 10:30, and I used to wake up around 10:30. So on that day, I woke up a bit earlier to regain my consciousness and like prepare myself. But my mind didn't really catch up to my body, and it takes time to fix your sleep schedule. So I believe that is another reason why I wasn't able to perform my best, because my brain was lagging a bit. And even if I take 2 extra seconds to answer question, in the long run, it all adds up. So I believe like for the preparation period, do whatever suits you best. If you think that you can work better at night, then study at night. But for the interview and even for the exams, if you have like if it's in the morning, it's better to fix your sleep schedule according to that, so that you don't have to suffer because you're sleepy or your brain isn't working. I
Really,
think
really,
that's all.
I think that's a wonderful thought, Vidhi, you have shared actually. So nobody talks about this in particular, especially the achievers when I'm talking about. But I think that's a wonderful thing which you have spoken about. Having that biological clock set is very, very important. Your body has to adjust. In fact, so what you are telling is you must take the mock test at the same time as the actual examination,
Exactly.
and then you should definitely work upon the interviews right from the beginning. But more importantly, it is the setting that biological clock. I think that's very, very important, because some of these examination happens in the first phase of the day around 10 to 12. Some of these are scheduled around 3 to 5 or 2 to 4. I think at both these stages of the day our body behaves differently actually. So I think that's a wonderful thought. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Vidhi Singh, and I think I really enjoyed Vidhi interacting with you, and I'm sure the students who are going to watch this interview of yours, they are definitely going to learn a lot about, and especially something you spoke about the biological clock setting. That's very, very important. From entire Career Launcher family, Vidhi, we wish you all the best, and we know you'll achieve greater heights of success. And through this program, you'll definitely have wonderful learning. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us.
Thank you, sir.